That baby is mine! I carried him for months.
We spent years praying for him.
I changed my mind.
Order!
Just give me my baby!
The courtroom erupted into whispers. Some people looked at the Korean couple with sympathy. Others looked at Amara with tears in their eyes. The judge raised his hand and called for order. But before anyone could continue, the judge asked a simple question. How did we get here? To answer that question, we must go back almost 2 years. In the heart of Seoul lived one of the city's most admired couples. Min Jun was a successful businessman whose company employed hundreds of people. His wife, Soo Jin, was elegant, intelligent, and loved by everyone who knew her. From the outside, they seemed to have the perfect life: a beautiful mansion, luxury cars, successful careers, financial security. But behind the smiles, they carried a secret pain. They had been married for 8 years, and despite countless hospital visits, surgeries, fertility treatments, and prayers, they still had no child. Every time relatives asked, "When are you going to have children?" Soo Jin smiled politely. But every night, she cried herself to sleep. One afternoon, after yet another hospital appointment, the doctor delivered the news they had been dreading. The treatments had failed. The chances of Soo Jin carrying a pregnancy had become extremely low. For a long moment, no one spoke. The room felt heavy. Finally, the doctor gently suggested another option: surrogacy. At first, the idea shocked them. Neither Min Jun nor Soo Jin wanted another woman carrying the child they had prayed for. But after months of discussing it, crying together, and searching for another solution, they realized it might be their only chance to become parents. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, life looked very different for a young woman named Amara. Unlike the wealthy couple in Seoul, Amara's family struggled every single day. After losing her father several years earlier, she became the main support for her household. She cared for her sick mother. She helped her younger brother stay in school. Every bill, every hospital visit, every responsibility rested on her shoulders. Despite working long hours, the money was never enough. Some nights she skipped dinner so that her family could eat. Back in Seoul, the surrogacy agency searched for someone willing to help the couple. Many women applied. Some were motivated only by money. Others changed their minds during the process. Then the agency found Amara. She was healthy, responsible, kind. But there was one problem. She had refused every surrogacy offer she had ever received. When the agency asked why, her answer surprised everyone. "Because babies are not business deals," she said. "A woman carries a child for 9 months. How can anyone expect her heart to stay unchanged?" Those words deeply touched Min Jun and Soo Jin. Instead of walking away, they asked to meet her. They believed that a woman who respected motherhood that much would also understand how much they longed to become parents. Little did any of them know that this meeting would change all 3 of their lives forever. After some days, they requested to meet her again. When Min Jun and Soo Jin finally met Amara, they didn't arrive with expensive gifts or promises of luxury. Instead, they came with something much more powerful: hope. The meeting took place inside Amara's modest apartment. The walls were old, the furniture was worn, and the room was small, but it was filled with love. For a few moments, nobody spoke. Then Soo Jin finally broke the silence. "Thank you for agreeing to meet us," she said softly. Amara smiled politely. "Meeting isn't the same as agreeing." Min Jun nodded with understanding. "We know. And if your answer remains no, we'll respect it." That response surprised Amara. She had expected pressure. Instead, she found kindness. The conversation lasted nearly an hour. The Korean couple spoke about the 8 painful years they had spent trying to have a child. They spoke about hospital visits, failed treatments, sleepless nights. and the heartbreak of watching everyone around them become parents while their own dreams slipped further away. As Sujin spoke, tears slowly rolled down her face. "I don't want someone else's child," she admitted. "I simply want the chance to love the child we've dreamed of for so many years."
I'm right here for you. I just don't know what to do anymore.
Before leaving, Minjun quietly placed a folder on the table. "Please don't decide today," he said. "Take your time. Read everything. If your answer is still no, we'll never bother you again." After they left, Amara opened the folder. Inside was the proposed surrogacy agreement. At the very bottom, one figure caught her attention: $500,000. Her hands froze. She had never seen that much money in her life. That night, Amara barely slept. She kept walking from one room to another. Every time she looked at the contract, she imagined holding a newborn baby. Then she imagined handing that baby to strangers. Her heart felt heavy. The next morning, she decided to tell her family. Her mother listened carefully before shaking her head. "No amount of money can replace peace of mind," she said gently. "You may believe you're carrying someone else's child, but your heart may not understand that." Her younger brother also looked worried, though. "What if you become attached?" he asked. Amara had no answer, because deep inside, she feared exactly the same thing. Several days passed. The Korean couple never called. They never pressured her. They simply waited. One afternoon, Amara's mother suddenly became seriously ill. She was rushed to the hospital. After examining her, the doctor explained that she needed treatment as soon as possible. Without it, her condition could become much worse. Walking out of the hospital, Amara felt completely helpless. She checked her bank account. There wasn't enough money. Not even close. That evening, she sat alone under the night sky. She looked at the contract one more time. Then she whispered, "Maybe. This is the only way to save my family." The following morning, she called the agency. "I've made my decision," she said quietly. A few days later, she met Minjun and Sujin again. This time, all three of them sat with independent lawyers who carefully explained every page of the agreement. The lawyer spoke slowly. "This document confirms that once the child is born, the intended parents will become the child's legal parents. You are free to ask questions or walk away before signing." Amara read every page. She asked questions. She took her time. No one rushed her. Finally, she picked up the pen. Then she signed her name. Across the table, Sujin quietly covered her face as tears rolled down her cheeks. She whispered, "Thank you for giving us a chance to become parents." Amara managed a small smile, but deep inside, she had no idea that the hardest part of her journey had not even begun. The embryo transfer was successful. A few weeks later, the doctor confirmed the news everyone had been praying for. Amara was pregnant. When Sujin heard the news, she burst into tears. For the first time in 8 long years, hope felt real. Minjun hugged his wife tightly. They couldn't stop thanking Amara. To them, she wasn't just a surrogate. She was the woman who had given their family a second chance. As the weeks passed, the pregnancy progressed beautifully. Every month, the Korean couple attended Amara's medical appointments. They never missed a single checkup. They made sure she had the best doctors, nutritious food, and everything she needed to stay healthy. Whenever Amara insisted she was fine, Sujin would smile and say, "You're carrying our greatest treasure. Taking care of you is the least we can do." Their kindness made Amara respect them even more. She could see how much they already loved the baby. By the 5th month, something unexpected began to happen. Every morning before leaving for work, Amara would gently place her hands on her growing belly. She found herself talking to the baby. At first, it was just a few words. "Good morning, little one. I hope you're growing strong today." Soon, those little conversations became part of her daily routine. Sometimes she would sing softly while cooking. Other times, she would tell the baby stories about her childhood. She knew the baby wasn't hers, but her heart was slowly forgetting what her mind kept trying to remember. One afternoon during a routine hospital visit, the doctor smiled. "Everything looks perfect," he said. "Would you like to know the baby's gender?" Minjun and Sujin looked at each other excitedly. Amara smiled. Together they answered, "Yes." The doctor laughed. "Congratulations, it's a baby boy." The room immediately filled with happy tears. Sujin covered her mouth as she cried. Minjun could hardly believe it. They were finally going to have a son. A few days later, the couple invited Amara to lunch. It wasn't a business meeting. It was simply their way of saying thank you. As they sat together, Sujin placed a small gift box on the table. Inside was a delicate gold necklace. Amara looked surprised. "This is too expensive," she said. Sujin smiled warmly. "No gift could ever equal what you're doing for us." Amara accepted it with gratitude. The three of them laughed together like old friends. For a moment, everything felt perfect. But life has a way of changing without warning. One quiet evening, Amara was sitting alone in her bedroom when she suddenly felt something unusual. A tiny movement, then another. She froze. Her eyes widened. The baby had kicked for the very first time. She placed both hands on her stomach and laughed through tears. "Was that you?" she whispered. Another gentle kick answered her. She couldn't stop smiling. For nearly an hour, she remained there, talking softly to the little life growing inside her. It was one of the happiest moments of her life. But later that night, as she lay in bed, a painful thought crossed her mind. In a few months, I'll have to say goodbye. For the first time since signing the agreement, fear entered her heart. As the pregnancy reached 7 months, the emotional bond became even stronger. Amara found herself imagining what the baby's face would look like. Would he have his father's smile? Would he have his mother's eyes? She quickly stopped herself. "No," she whispered. "Don't think like that." One evening, Amara had a dream. She dreamed she was holding a beautiful baby boy. He looked up at her, smiled, and softly called her, "Mama." Suddenly, someone reached out and carried him away. Amara ran after them. "Please," she cried, "bring him back." She woke up with tears running down her face. Her pillow was soaked. She held her stomach tightly. And for the first time, she whispered the words she had been trying so hard not to say. "I don't know if I can do this anymore." Just 2 weeks later, while preparing breakfast, Amara suddenly felt a sharp pain. She grabbed the kitchen table. Another pain followed.
Mama, it hurts. I think it is time. Take deep breaths. I am here. Breathe, breathe just like that.